It is like 3:20 a.m. in the morning. I just finished work. I'm trying to just record a simple video, but I'm having mic problem. But I just wanted to just get one more final thoughts on Sonic Frontiers, which comes out in less than 24 hours now. November 8th is November 7th today. And yeah, the game is about to come out just now. It's been a while since I talked about it on this channel, but since then we of course got a lot of new things that we seen for Frontiers, especially if it's coming out tomorrow. Lots of gameplay footage, story trailers, cyberspace levels, the soundtracks, costumes, everything. People already even have the game, of course, with review codes and other means. So reviews are probably gonna start dropping soon, and the full game will somehow get leaked very soon. It probably is already leaked on YouTube and stuff, which is why I've been staying away. But yeah, just sharing my final thoughts before I get to play the game myself. And so far I think this game is gonna be fun. It actually looks good, like pretty good, like really almost really good, to be honest. Sonic looks fun to control. The ability to freely move him around in an open world space looks good, sounds good. The platforming bits are looking to be fun, despite some of them having some automation in them. Some areas in the open zone though has 2D sections, because of course we have 2D sections. I'm not really a fan of the forced 2D sections in the boost games. I think they really ruined the pace a lot. Sonic Unleashed, in my opinion, had the best 2D sections of any boost games. Generations and colors were decent, and Forces was just meh. I can understand why they do it though, because the devs had to like pad out the level in some way, but I always hate it. I wouldn't say hate, but it's just like, it's whatever. The good part is that the 2D sections are just really short, but then again, if it's really short, then why is it there at all? I don't know, but it's not really something I'm stressing over. The islands look really big, and it seems like there is a decent amount of things to explore and discover. Lots of new things to collect, so we at least have a reason to explore and find any like collectibles needed for the story or side quests, whatever you need. Lots of enemies to fight too, but the combat I'm still kind of concerned about. I feel like the combat will get repetitive. I'm hoping it isn't, but especially if the enemies are like easy. And when I say like easy, I mean like the second half of the game is like piss easy, but just tedious. Enemies having more health doesn't just make it hard, it just makes it tedious. Especially if the combat gets repetitive. I think the moves, Sonic has, his specials, his basic attacks, his dodges and parries are good enough to have, like, to make the combat fun. But if the enemies don't force Sonic to use all of his abilities, like, to the fullest, then it won't matter how many moves Sonic has. If it's too easy, then it's not gonna be fun. I worry that the combat will just get too old too quick, and then I'll just be avoiding combat for like half of the game, which I don't want to happen, because there's a lot of enemies to fight. The special attack animations do look cool, and the combos that we can pull off look satisfying, but I want to be able to use them like in creative ways, just to keep me engaged the whole time. And if they do that, then I'll be happy. I haven't seen much puzzles and challenges, just very basic ones we've seen in the beginning, and of course Big the Cat's fishing minigame, which is kind of nice. Makes, like, how do you even Big get there? Is he just built different and godlike or whatever? He's just able to just wander over to the Starfall Islands without getting captured like Tails, Amy, and Knuckles. You can fish to trade in for some goodies, so it's like a nice chill way to collect some stuff. Now the cyberspace levels those ones are kind of just looking rough. Almost everyone that played the demo had said like Sonic controlled worse than he did in the open zone, which is weird. I don't get how they even messed that up, and I'm kind of scared to find out how it feels when I play it tomorrow. The levels also look pretty basic, level design wise, and the theming is just, of course, Green Hill, Chemical Plant, Sky Sanctuary. Bringing back those 3 games from Generations again, especially Green Hill. We're tired of seeing Green Hill. But we got one new city level that looks newish, but it looks like it's only using those 4 themes for the whole cyberspace stuff, which sucks because it can be a lot of them apparently. And not only that, they're using level designs from old Sonic stages, like there's even one for Windmill Isle, Skyrail from Sonic Adventure 2, which is weird, but Skyrail looks like Green Hill Zone. So like, why not make it look like Skyrail? It's supposed to be like Sonic's memories. Sonic even hasn't been to Skyrail, which is weird. But it's what it doesn't matter. It should have been. They should have just represented the original stages properly instead of just using the 4 basic themes. But I don't know. That's just cyberspace right now, which is why not everyone's really like too fond of it right now. But the music though is sounding like really good. It's like really how would I describe it? I think it's kind of like it's kind of a combination of Sonic CD, Sonic Forces, and Sonic R, and it just sounds great. I think that's the best way to explain the cyberspace level soundtrack. That's the one thing I'm looking forward to when playing those levels, but they're also really short too, so that's another downside. But I guess it kind of makes sense here for this type of game. The main part is the open world, the open zone world, so cyberspace is not the main focus. And apparently it's completely optional too, so you don't even have to play any of the cyberspace. Apparently, I'm not sure yet. The main theme and ending theme has also been out, and I know a lot of people love them, but I'm kind of like not really sold on it yet. It's kind of hard for me to get into this hard rock style of music. It's not really my favorite type of genre. I don't hate it completely, since I've clearly liked a lot of rock songs from the Sonic franchise. Almost all of Crush 40's music is just really good to me. Maybe I'm biased towards them because I've grown up listening to their songs. Other Sonic songs hasn't really went full hard rock compared to Crush 40, and they have a certain style that I just really like. So when a new artist or band comes to make a Sonic song, I just worry that I wouldn't like it too much, and that's kind of what I'm feeling right now with I'm Here and Vandalize. They still sound great though. I'm still kind of just warming up to it, but it hasn't sold on me yet. I didn't get that instant connection, but maybe when I hear it more when I play the game, I'll end up liking it. Sometimes listening to a song with context can turn me over, like if it plays during like a epic boss fight or something. And speaking of boss fights, we've seen a couple bosses. We have like the mini bosses fights and the Titan boss fights. I've seen the gameplay where you have to use Supersonic to take down the Titan. The same one we've seen in the trailers and that one scene in the demo where Sonic gets yeeted by it. Kind of ties to the comment really. If they end up being button mashy, then that would kind of suck. It would just get repetitive, especially if it's a Supersonic fight too. Cause you know, when you go Supersonic, shit's about to go crazy, so you want it to be like sick and not boring and whatever. But I only seen like the leak footage, so, and it did kind of look button mashy, but I don't know, it could be the person just using the same move and not changing it up. But that's my only worry so far when it comes to that. And the story now is looking like really good. It's taking itself seriously for once. Ever since we got Sonic Colors, the stories has never been the same. this whole meta era Saturday morning cartoon thing that they've been doing has gotten so old. I'm surprised it took them long enough to finally change it up and make an actual story that actually has feelings. Sonic Generations had potential, Sonic Lost World had potential, kinda, and especially Sonic Forces had the most. That game had the most potential to having a really good Sonic story. All of them were just wasted. Sonic Colors kinda gets a pass since it was like the first game to do it. I guess getting that kind of writing isn't bad once in a while, but I'm okay with never getting that style ever again. I'm done with it. I don't want to hear Sonic say, "We beat Eggman all the time, it's like our job, LOL," or Baldy McNore's nose hair, or Sonic finding any other jokes to crack at any given moment. Like, he gets trapped in prison for 6 months, and 6 months in, he's chilling. He's just chilling, being upbeat and cracking jokes same ways. He meets Infinite again, ready to get revenge, but is talking about long walks on the beach or some shit. And all of that just seems like it's gonna be gone in Frontiers. There was like a balance Sonic had back then. There was a time where he had to get serious. There was a time he was like down and sad. There was a time where he was cocky, making snarky comments to taunt his foes or whatever. Like, the past decade, we were only getting that snarky jokes or Sonic, and it wasn't only him too. Other characters were also affected by it too. Knuckles became a joke, Tails became a joke, and Weak, he became like Sonic Forces. He was a bitch. Like he faced chaos on his weakest form when he beat the stronger form all the way back in Sonic Adventure, and when he sees chaos, he turns around, bends over, and screams Sonic, when at the time Sonic wasn't even alive, so he was literally screaming to Sonic for no reason. I don't know. Tails needs to come back with this game. Knuckles is looking like he's actually going to be a good character after seeing that prologue, so that's good. I'm kind of hopeful for that. And even Eggman too, he's kind of become a joke. He kind of was always a joke, but like in a funny way, but he's not. He also has his like menacing moments, but he doesn't have that anymore, especially after Unleashed. But it's funny how Amy is the only one who actually gotten better throughout this meta era, so who knows? That's weird. But I'm pretty sure she'll still act the same way, so because I think a lot of people do like how Amy turned out to be in the past decade. But yeah, back to Frontiers now. Things are just looking up. Some of the dialogue I heard in the game is what I'm liking so far. Sonic isn't forcing a joke out in every scene, which is the plus. The scene where Amy and Sonic were like finished talking and Amy wishes Sonic to be careful, Sonic stops, looks back with a smirk or something, and he says like, "What's the fun in that?" and whatever. And that was it. It felt pretty natural. It wasn't like forced or something. And Roger's voice of him sounds deeper too, and it sounds good, I think. So I'm interested in seeing how he sounds for the rest of the game. Knuckles' new voice actor since Team Sonic Racing is back for Frontiers, and I'm interested in hearing how he's handled there too. He's definitely like improving a lot for Knuckles too, so that's also a plus. He even showed up in the latest Tails Tube episode, and he sounded like way better, so that's how you know he's gonna be good. And the Knuckles prologue too. I forgot there was that too, but he definitely improved from Team Sonic Racing. So I'm pretty excited to hear him in the game. Now, the last thing I kind of wanted to talk about is like the longevity of the game. The producer has said that the game should take at least like 20 to 30 hours, but people that already has the game is saying other ways. Some of them are beating it in like 15 hours, even 100%ing it under 20 hours. So I'm trying to think like how do they make it 30 hours or something, but I don't know. I haven't seen enough info for it to be true, so I'll just not really comment about it. But from what I know, there are 5 islands, and we only seen 3: Kronos, Ares, and Chaos Island. And I'm just wondering, like, how much of the game are they really hiding from us? If there is still a lot left, then there is still a lot of mystery to the other worlds, with its enemies, bosses, and story. Like, is there even a lot of story cutscenes? I don't even know. That kind of bothers me, to be honest. But I also don't want to be spoiled, but I just don't want to set high expectations to end up being disappointed. It's just one of those times where I'm just gonna have to find out when I play it for myself. I just hope we just get like a deep, long story that just doesn't finish in like... I just needed to finish like proper. The last few games, the story just always never had a proper finish. So hopefully this game actually like finishes properly, and it's long. Even after beating the game too, like, do we have post-game content to do? Do we have a post-game story, side quests, extra bonuses and such? Like maybe a special cyberspace levels that will like really test our skills? That's what I hope for. It seems like the standard for open world games, so hopefully Sonic Frontiers lives up to that standard. I just don't want the game to be done in a flash, like the past few Sonic games. And yeah, that's about it. I think I've expressed all I wanted to say before the game comes out. I'm looking forward to playing it, but I still have more concerns, so I'm gonna go in optimistic but cautious about it. My whole life I always get excited for Sonic games blindly, and most of the times I would actually enjoy it, even like Sonic Lost World. But Lost World was like the start of my disappointment for the Sonic series, or maybe even as far back as Generations, because while that game is like one of the best games, Sonic games, the story was like the main thing that I didn't like about it, because the story was literally like nothing. There was no story in Generations. And even with Lost World, even if I did like it, there was still like a void somewhere in me, like something just wasn't right, something was just missing. And as I got older, then I just knew that things were just not the same. Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric came, and that game was also a big disappointment, but that was a spin-off, so I guess who cares. But Sonic Forces though, the next mainline Sonic game at the time, and the last one right now, that one hurt the most because we waited 4 years for that game to come out, and it was the longest we have ever waited for a mainline Sonic game, and it just ended up being like painfully average, and it was so short, finishing in 3 hours, releasing next to Super Mario Odyssey, which takes way longer and has a lot of replay value in that game. You guys already know how good that Super Mario Odyssey is, and if you haven't played that game, what are you doing? Go play it. You have to play it. All that time waiting just for it to be super average and just be done with in 3 hours. So, and now 5 years later, we're back again with another mainline Sonic game being released, and this time they actually have something good here. This open zone formula may just be Sonic's next best thing, and honestly, I am down, because it leans more towards the adventure playstyle, which is my favorite gameplay style for Sonic. So if that stays in for a bit, then I'm curious to see how it plays out in the next decade, because you know, it's going to be another 4 to 5 years until we see the next mainline Sonic game after Frontiers. So that's the new norm for this generation. Games are taking longer to make. But yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say. The game, I'm not even recording. What? Oh yeah, I am. Okay, I was looking at the wrong program. Whoops. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I'm pretty excited for the game, but also feel like there's gonna be some things I'm not gonna like and maybe get old and bored of, like the combat, but I won't know until I've played the game myself, which is less than 24 hours. So yeah, it's like an exciting time, I guess. We'll have to see. But yeah, that's about it. I am done. I'm going to sleep. It's late. It's almost 4 o'clock now. I need to go to bed.